I certainly don't claim any expertise when it comes to athletics, but I do know that you can't win if you only play defensive ball. You need a good defense, to be sure, but you also need a good offense. If you want to hear more about that, just turn the TV on tomorrow afternoon. But in the gospel, we have a very similar message, that we really need to go on the offensive if you want to receive God's praise. In Matthew, we have the last of a series of parables that we've been reading over the last few weeks about preparing for the end of time. And in today's story, 3 men are given various amounts of money from a landowner who leaves. The first and the second both take the offensive. They do something with the money that they were given. The third, out of fear, simply buries the money. Doesn't spend it, doesn't steal it, he just leaves it in the ground. The story is really not so much about money as it is about what you and I do with the gifts, the graces that we have been given. And being Christian means taking the offensive, taking a risk. We do take a risk in saying that we believe in a God we cannot see. We do take a risk in giving credence to the fantastic story of God becoming part of his own creation in the person of Jesus Christ. We take a risk in believing that there is life after death. We take a risk in believing that every human being possesses basic human rights which need to be recognized, protected, and promoted. Having more than defense in religious terms might also remind us that morality, the art of knowing what is right and wrong, is more than not doing this and not doing that, but requires a positive approach. What should I do? What ought I do in this particular circumstance? Those of us of a certain age who were trained in the old Baltimore Catechism might remember what they referred to as sins of omission versus sins of commission, the sins that you committed. The sins of omission tried to get us to focus on the fact that there are numerous opportunities that we are presented with in which we are invited, challenged, expected to take a certain action that would live out our own Christian commitment. We're not supposed to bury our talents, but to use them. I recall reading a sign outside of a Protestant church which read, "Well done beats well said." In other words, we can't just talk about doing things, we actually need to do them. An old priest friend of mine who's been dead many a year would always seem to find a way to repeat his favorite saying, "Who you are is God's gift to you. Who you become is your gift to God." This parable is read on the next to last Sunday of the church's liturgical year. It's not about a landowner who goes off on a trip. It really is about the Lord who has left us here on earth, but one day will return and judge us on how wisely we used our gifts. Well done certainly beats well said.